Hi guys, I'm going to give you some important advice right now, probably the most important advice I'll ever give you. And it's simply this: jam every day. Exercise creativity every day. So whether it's jamming with musician buddies or even if it's just improvising over a YouTube jam track for 20 minutes every day, that's good enough, really. Just make sure that you are jamming every day. You see, I get a lot of comments and emails and private messages from people asking me things along the lines of why their jamming sucks, you know, why they can't create meaningful solos, and why their improvs always sound boring and, well, like scales. That's a very common one. And the first thing I do is ask them what they've been practicing recently. And the answer is almost always scales, sequences, picking exercises, riffs, so on. So pretty much everything but practicing jamming and, you know, creating ideas and improvising. And therein lies the problem. You see, you are what you practice. So if you practice scales all the time, you're going to get good at your scales. If you practice sequences all the time, you're going to get good at sequences. If you practice picking exercises all the time, you're going to eventually develop a mastery of those picking exercises. And at no point are you going to suddenly be able to create like amazing solos on the spot if all you do is practice scales and sequences and stuff like that. So in order to get good at jamming, you have to directly practice jamming. So that's why I say jam every day. Now, there's another thing about jamming and creativity which I should definitely say. They're very much like a use it or lose it kind of thing. If you go too long without jamming, too long without composing solos and improvising, you lose the ability entirely, or at least I do. So I'll tell you a story. In my late teens, I met two guitarists, two blues guitarists, who were just amazing. I don't know if they ever did a picking exercise in their life. Perhaps they didn't need to. They were just amazing, talented musicians. And they were always jamming with each other. They were very fluent on their instruments. And 3 years ago, 2015, I got a message on my phone from one of them saying that they were both back in town for the weekend and would I want to catch up for a jam, you know, for old time's sake. So I of course said yes. Now I'd just been in a 4-month metamorphosis period where I'd been shut away in my bedroom practicing scales and sequences and picking exercises. So I thought, yeah, this is going to go well. Not only is it going to be a good jam, I'm going to show these old jamming buddies of mine, you know, well, theoretically, how good I've got since I last saw them years and years ago. But it wasn't to be. So I got to the jam. The two of them were just going at it like always, you know, great rhythms and leads being passed back and forth. Fantastic as always. And then it came my turn to lay down a solo. And I just went cold. My heart stopped as I realized that I no longer had the ability to jam or to solo. And everything that I was doing was just scalar nonsense and disjointed arpeggio fragments. And I was so incredibly embarrassed. It's almost painful to recount this story for you. Like, I was so embarrassed. And they said, yeah, you've come a long way, your technique's good. I knew they were just being nice. The fact of the matter is, I hadn't practiced jamming. The jam was a disaster, and I looked like an idiot. So I made a personal vow that day to myself that I would jam every day to make sure this never happened again. And so that's what I do. I jam every day at the end of my practice sessions. About half an hour it usually works out being. Just so that I never find myself without that creativity, you know, well-oiled and ready to go. So yeah, there's my advice, and there's a bit of a story to back it up. Make sure you jam every day.